Does this suddenly mean Ben Shapiro should be shunned? Let the politics begin. This is Wretched Radio. With political talk, sort of. 50-50 chance you'll like this. My confidence isn't brimming. This is Wretched Radio. If you're a political junkie, and chances are very good you are, you're going to love a mash. Jimmy, I think there's a name for it when you take two different videos and you just mush them together.
Yes, it's called a
train wreck.
Composition? No.
It's called a mess, is what it is. And I'm going to duplicate that for you right now because we're going to talk politics, but church politics, because it is political season. And by the way, as an aside, when it comes to politics, like non-Christian politics, it should never be non-Christian politics. Everything that we see, consume, it should be filtered through what the Bible has to say about it, which might encourage us to be at least thoughtful about some of the political talk that we consume. There are a number of guys out there right now, and guyettes, I think that's their pronoun, that are doing very good political talk, a conservative perspective. But if the individual is not a believer who is speaking from a biblical perspective, it's going to be deficient somewhere along the line. It has to be, because remember, governments, they're ministers of God. They exist to do his work in building his kingdom. That means when I watch the news, I should be thinking, Bible, what does the Bible have to say about this? And as an aside to the current aside that I'm assiding on right now, please don't read the book of Revelation or the book of Ezekiel or the book of Daniel with your social media feed in your hand. I've been seeing so many of these articles. Ezekiel prophesied, Daniel, this is the Gog and the Magog in the Revelation. That's just not the way that those books are intended to read. They are not supposed to be cryptic forecasters of how geopolitics is going to play out in the 21st century. Those things are written either because they have been revealed or because we are supposed to be seeing the signs and not using them to determine a return date of Jesus, but to remind us he is returning. But enough with that aside. Let's get back to just the aside. So you're watching or listening to a political talk show, somebody who does a podcast. They can be spot on from a Ronald Reagan perspective. They can be spot on from a really conservative position, but without the Bible. You simply are getting this disjointed realm, like it exists apart from what God is doing on the earth. He's not. So we want to watch the line of not turning the daily news into some sort of prediction about the future, or this is like that. But we do want to filter everything through what the Bible says. For instance, when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, there are a lot of people who are actually staking different sides in evangelical Christianity as to what this thing is. Is Putin doing it for this reason? Is he going to go further than there? What exactly does he want? How good is the government in Ukraine? Those are all interesting things, but we should be asking ourselves the question, what's happening there biblically? We want to look at history. We want to study what Putin was up to, why he feels the way that he does, why Ukraine feels like they're, a nation that has been sovereign for the last 30 years, and they're scratching their heads as to why this is happening. All right, what does the Bible say about war? What does the Bible say about rulers? What does the Bible say about invading? What does the Bible say about indiscriminately killing people? Those are the perspectives that have not been discussed, in my opinion, much, or at least considered. And there can be times when you see a story and it's like, nah, I got nothing. The Bible doesn't tell me anything. I got nothing here. But there are times that it should. Case in point, I enjoy Ben Shapiro. I guess I can't say as much as you do, but whenever I see him, he is a brilliant fellow. And this was a bit of a disappointment. This was sent to me at idea@wretched.org because many of us just, it'd be so great if Ben Shapiro got saved. What a tool he could be for building God's kingdom. And I can still consume Ben Shapiro, no doubt about that. I'm not telling you to boycott him. But remember, his religious perspective is not going to bring you world events, social events, from a Christian perspective.
You know, from a Jewish point of view, where we don't believe in the divinity of Christ, I think that there you can make an argument that the Gospels, which were written,
he was just a prophet, and right?
No. We don't even believe he was a prophet.
What do you think he was? What do you guys think?
What do I think he was historically? I think he was a Jew who tried to lead a revolt against the Romans and got killed for his trouble.
Okay, that's obviously a little deficient. Oh, does this suddenly mean Ben Shapiro should be shunned? Not saying that. I'm just saying this is what the man believes about God, about Jesus Christ. It has to have something of an impact on what he speaks about.
Just like a lot of other Jews at that time who were crucified for trying to lead revolts against the Roman and got killed for their trouble.
All right, there's just nothing in the Bible that even hints that Jesus was leading a revolt. You can go back and smash that into history if you'd like to, but clearly he wasn't leading a revolt. There was one ear that was lost, and he restored it because he wasn't leading a revolt. It would be contrary to everything that he taught. Don't carry the Romans' gear 1 mile, carry it 2 miles. You know, that's the type of incendiary language of a revolutionary. Not.
So he became legend in story, and it became a bigger and bigger deal as time went on.
Yeah, he had a group of followers, and then that gradually grew, and then
do you think he was resurrected?
Actually, before we get to the resurrection question, it grew very rapidly. The Judaizers were shocked and very concerned and dedicated their days to traveling around the Mediterranean following the Apostle Paul to shut him down, to come in behind him and go, oh, Paul was here. Oh, he's trying to teach. No, Paul's just a little bit twisted on his theology. We need to follow the Jewish laws. Why? Because they saw Christianity was exploding. This wasn't a myth that grew over time. This was historical, and the Bible and external books testify of that. Ben Shapiro on the resurrection.
No, that's not a Jewish belief.
Okay, I just want to check.
Yeah, no, we're not into
we're not
into miracle stories. No, that's not. No.
You don't have any miracles?
No, not by Jesus. Right?
No?
They're ones in the Old Testament.
Ones?
Yeah, you've got Moses splitting the sea and all that.
What do you think happened there?
What do I think happened there?
Yeah.
Well, I'll go with the Maimonidean explanation.
Everybody goes with Maimonides. He is the call-to rabbi from the 12th century who tried to somewhat contemporize Judaism. And he, honestly, he's looked to like the Apostle Paul.
There was, it says in the Bible there was a strong east wind. So there was a naturalistic explanation for a physical phenomenon.
That makes sense.
I mean, that's what Maimonides is constantly trying to do, is read nature back into the Bible.
So there's Ben Shapiro's understanding about Jesus Christ, the Bible, miracles, the resurrection. Am I saying that Ben Shapiro is suddenly worthless when it comes to pontificating on politics? Nope. But there is no way that the man can always be giving the fullest possible picture without Jesus Christ. Hey, Jimmy, you know where that brings us, don't you?
Where?
The original premise of this segment. Politics and the church. because, wow, it's political season. Southern Baptists, they're going to be meeting in June in Anaheim. And right now, I don't mean this pejoratively, but the jockeying has begun as far as who is going to be the new president of the SBC. Ed Litton, he read something that said that the president should actually retire after a year. So that's what he said. He's not going to be running for a second term, which apparently is not Southern Baptist tradition. So it was a bit of a shock to folks, although not totally, because of the number of issues that have surrounded Pastor Ed Litton. He's not running. There's a pastor in Florida who has already thrown his hat in the ring. We'll see what he's all about. He did talk a lot in his announcement about dealing with the sexual abuse inside of the SBC. He didn't mention anything about CRT. We'll see what that means as we learn more about that political candidate in the SBC. And yet, there's another person who's being talked about as president of the SBC. Who is that person? Next on Wretched Radio. What you're watching is a snippet. If you would like to watch the entire episode, just visit wretched.org. Hey, I'm Todd. I'm going to be your Uber driver. What's your destination?
2054 Kemple Lane.
No. Your eternal destination. The liberals, they brought in Pelagianism. It's the old Sabellian heresy, denying the Trinitarian Godhead. 3 persons, 1 God, not to the Sabellians. No. They would say that it's actually just 1 God. Please, somebody